to Your Asian Besties, a podcast where we reflect on our life experiences and what's helping us along the way. I'm Leah.
I'm Ray.
I'm Marin.
Each episode, we talk about a topic, unscripted and unfiltered. Today, we'll be talking about decluttering. So, I'm really interested to get into this topic today. And obviously, you don't know, but how we usually plan these sessions is we think about topics. This in particular was just so top of mind for me that I just wanted to get it out today. Honestly, it's the first time in my life where I finally feel like I'm ready to actually declutter. I've had many times where I've thought about, okay, like I'm going to do it and whatever. Things happen. Maybe I clean up an area and then it gets covered again in a month. So this time I've really made a commitment to not buy anything new unless I'm getting rid of something. Trying to set boundaries. And how I knew this was for me was there was this bin of toys that my kids, said they never played with anymore. Sometimes they'd still take stuff out, put stuff in. And it was always this open threat, I'm going to dump it out. Make sure you have what you need. And then they start school next week, so they've been at home while I've been working. And then finally, after work, I saw that bin still in it. I just had it. I was like, okay, I gave you, this was your last chance. I'm throwing it all away. It's trash day today. And just followed through. And then you could see them kind of running to the bin and trying to grab one last thing. I'm like, no, you had forever. I think that finally made it real for them and me. So now I'm like, okay, well, since I got rid of their stuff, which is easy because it's not mine, now I also have to do this for my stuff. Because I have so many hobbies and so many things I've just, accumulated over the years because I have new interests. And there's always that one day I'm going to come back to this. So I know both of you are very creative and crafty. So we can talk a lot more about that. But that's the intro for this. And what I wanted to also set the stage was, as I was just kind of casually Googling any ties between being Asian American and decluttering, it was actually really interesting because an article from the New York Post, it was 8 years ago, popped up. And it talked about Marie Kondo's book. Yeah. We all know who Marie Kondo is now. And she mentions that there is this stress that mothers feel as they watch their children declutter and throw away mounds of unused clothing and other knickknacks. And the author of this article was an immigrant, or her parents were, immigrated here. And she says, my mother born in the Soviet Union and my mother-in-law born in Israel are both of a generation that doesn't throw much away or anything away. They live among other immigrants. The culture is very much dedicated to passing things along to someone else who might need it. And I think reading that, it kind of also clicked for me. Yeah, maybe it's not just a me thing, and maybe it is something. We have these beliefs about our stuff and our relationship to stuff growing up. So with that said, I'd like to hear from both of you. Starting with that, what was the first time, or when was the first time you noticed a relationship to your stuff, and what is that like now?
Marin, do you want to go first?
It was probably really early. I mean, I feel like as kids, it's isn't it a part of development or something? I mean, you really see yourself in your belongings. So I don't know if I have a particular memory, but I was also I was the oldest child. I was the firstborn daughter. So I just had my own stuff, my own room, all of, and I took pride in that, I guess. And yeah, I mean, I'm still that way. I think we have the double whammy because, as Leah's mentioning, I was also raised of never throwing anything away, never wasting, whether it's food or objects. And I also came from a family where we took everyone else's stuff. So if there was a relative that passed or whatever it is, we inherited a lot of things. And so there's a lot of nostalgia I think, invested in the things as well. So it's like the nostalgia aspect plus not wanting to waste is kind of, yeah. But when I was younger, I just like loved my things and I felt like my room was my kingdom. And, you know, I had like plushies. I remember I had one of those like shelves along my like around my ceiling,
Oh, like
and it
the
just had
hammock?
all my stuffed animals.
Yes.
It wasn't a hammock, it was like a
Oh, mine is
metal
hammock.
shelf that went all the way around. It was like a thing back in the 90s, I think, or the 80s. But yeah, I had all my little plushies, you know, keeping me company. So,
You know, when I look at like baby pictures from when I was younger, I see a lot of like stuffed animals and like things that were in the background, but none of those were chosen for me, or I didn't get to choose them, right? Those were handed down to me by like cousins, or they were gifted either as secondhand items or, you know, whatever it was, on special occasions or something. And so when I look back at things that, you know, like the background scenery of all these photos from the past, like I don't really have a personal connection to any of the objects or any things. But I do remember when I was going off to college. So I don't know about you guys, but I did not grow up in like one house or one home throughout my childhood. It was, I think we moved like every few years. And so we always were letting things go in the process of moving because we were either always downsizing or something along those lines. And so there was nothing that I feel like was mine except for this stuffed cat that I had and this one blanket that I really loved. I loved so much that whenever there would be holes, like I would sew those holes together. Um, and so, yeah, I still think about them today, and they're somewhere in my mom's house. But I don't know, like, I didn't really have a strong connection to a lot of things because I didn't feel like they were mine. There is a story that I remember, but I can't remember the details, so maybe it might come up a little bit later. But what about you, Leah?
Um, so to answer your first question, I lived in the same house my whole life until I went to college. So I think that's part of it too. The nostalgia, like everything, even like when I would go back home, like after college, like same bed, same bookshelves, like everything was like in its place. But it was like piles. Like I had books from like when I was like 3 years old still in that bookshelf. Like everything was there. I, and part of it was like growing up, I mentioned this in the Joy episode, I think, that I always collected things and I want to save things for those memories. It
Mm-hmm.
also like was part just having stuff and a combination of, like I guess that guilt from parents, especially my mom, right? Like you have it good, like or you throw away something that's perfectly good. Like we could send that to the Philippines to your cousins or something, or there's always someone less fortunate. So, it was also like because something was still in good condition, even if I didn't need it anymore, it's kind of like both either what if one day I need it, and also like don't throw it away. Like, find someone who can use it. But then it becomes a pile of stuff that, like, one day I will go to, like, donate this. And then, anyway. So, yeah, I definitely, oh, and then when I went to college for the first time, I don't know if you remember this, Miriam, I brought a lot of stuff. I had, like, my
yeah.
brother's.
Do you remember mine? Like, people were horrified at how many shoes I brought.
Remember that, yes.
I didn't know it was going to be so small. Because I was used to having my own room. I had like a duffel bag just full of shoes. And I think people were helping me move in, like the RA and stuff. And they were just like, oh my God. Where are you going to be going? Like,
Honestly, right? I think like if we had moved from home to home, it would have helped me
mhm.
like declutter. I never had that experience. Like the first time I was like, I need everything. I brought everything.
Exactly. Well, I
Yeah,
think
me too.
moving is the big thing because when I did have to move, that's when you have to reconcile with all your stuff, and it's
Mm.
so overwhelming. And so, yeah, I don't want to jump ahead, but that was one time when I tried to be a minimalist. I can talk about that later.
I
But that
remember
was very
this.
short-lived.
You
Very
started a blog.
short-lived.
You
I
had
know.
a
I feel
blog.
embarrassed because I'm definitely not one anymore. Yeah, it's when I had to move. I was like in an apartment for it was only 5 years in that apartment, but I had to like load all the stuff in the car, and then I traveled out of state. We moved out of state, and I was so overwhelmed. And then I remember at that same apartment, we ended up getting bed bugs, like from someone that visited us. And when you get bed bugs, you have to clear up every single thing you own. You have to wash every single thing you own. You have to bag it all up. So even just from that
Ew.
experience, I was like kind of traumatized. And then like moving to a new state, I didn't really know how long I was going to stay there. So I pretended to be a minimalist for a couple of years because I was just overwhelmed by the amount of things that I had. But then I also had my parents' house here that I could store some stuff. But I can never be one of those people that has like the capsule wardrobe or, those people that are super minimalist that like have one sweater and this and that. I could never be that because I feel like we are all creative people and then maybe we express ourselves through our things, through fashion, through different areas, and then we're nostalgic on top of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. And I will say to Leah too, like, I had a friend who actually, I think, wrote an article on Marie Kondo, but when they interviewed her, she said that she doesn't follow her
Yeah.
Wait,
philosophy. No, because she
what?
has kids, and she said, honestly, like, my place is not pristine. Everything doesn't spark joy. So I think it's very much like an ideal, but in terms of implementing it in the day to day, especially when you have a family and you have children, very difficult and I think unrealistic.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better. And also not, because then I'm like, well, now I want to like go and look for things that spark joy. But I'm like, well,
But how is everything supposed to spark joy? Like you need toilet paper, you need towels. Like there's so many practical aspects. You know what I mean? Like, and I just like things that are gonna be comfortable, or not everything does spark joy. So, yeah.
we went to Costco the other day and we finally bought the non-Kirkland brand toilet paper and it has waves and the kids were like super hyped. That sparked joy for them. Like so toilet paper
Charmin?
can spark.
It,
Yeah, is that the one with like the wave? Yeah.
it looks like your background.
You mean like
You could be.
each
Let's get a
sheet,
sponsorship.
right? Like each sheet has a wave, right?
It has a
It's
little-
Charmin.
yeah.
I
Well,
love
they have really
Charmin.
cute commercials with the bears, right?
My kids
Very
also see what's-
cute.
Yeah, they were like very excited. So, anyway. So.
There you go. You could spark. Well, they have Hello Kitty toilet paper too.
What?
Yeah,
I have
they
never
do.
seen.
At the Japanese markets, they have it. Yeah. So
Have
I
you bought
guess
it?
no, because I don't want to be throwing Hello Kitty's face away. It feels like honestly disrespectful to Hello Kitty.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know. That's one place I would not. That kind of reminds me of that joke. Like, I'm not a vegetarian because I like animals. I'm a vegetarian because I hate plants. Um, I don't know. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I do only have like one tip. Like, so obviously none of us are experts at this, but the one tip I have, I had trouble getting rid of clothes for a long time because there was a period of like decades that I was the same size and I could still fit into everything. And so I would hold on to like this one top from college. Like, well, what if I get invited to a 70s theme party? I could wear this top. I just was hanging on to so many things. And one thing that I did was anything that I was like on the fence, right? Because there's those items where you feel like giving it away so many times and you don't. So what I would do is I just like throw it all in a trash bag and like put it in the back of my closet or like wherever, even in your car or your garage. And then you can let it sit there. So it's kind of like the holding station for the things that you don't know if you're ready to part with. And you can have it there for a month, 2 months, as long as you want. And then if, within that time frame, you happen to think, oh, I want that thing, then you can get it out. But then if the time is up and you haven't thought about it or whatever, then you can get rid of it. And like for me, that worked better than just getting rid of it because I knew I would have an emotional response and maybe regret it later.
Yeah. I went through a phase after I gave birth of like trying to decrease the toxic load in my house. I don't know if that's like a woo-woo thing, but I was reading a lot about polyester and how it was really harmful to our health. And so I went through everything in my closet and I was like, oh my gosh, why do I have so much polyester? So, like, I just remember putting them in bags and my husband going, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm getting rid of every polyester item that I have, and which actually turned out to be a significant amount of clothing. And so I just tossed it all. And then there were a few shirts that I really love because I love polka dots. And I just remember thinking, oh, I cannot part with these. So I kind of did what you did, Marin. And so I put them in a bag. Actually, to be honest, they're still in the bag. And I haven't figured out how, like, I was like, well, can I turn it into something like the lining of a book cover? And so, I don't want to throw it out because I love polka dots. It feels blasphemous to me to throw that out. And so, yeah, so I now don't have any polyester clothing, and it's also helped me out a lot because I'm really frugal with clothing, and you know, anything that, isn't made out of polyester and is made out of more natural fibers are a little more costly or a lot more costly. So that's really prevented me from buying a lot of clothing too. So,
Yeah, I have a question for you both because I remember, you both have daughters, and I think my mom had we had this little Hello Kitty suitcase because you're not only grappling with your own stuff, you're grappling with all your kids' stuff too. A family's worth of stuff, and then growing kids, they're aging out of clothes, they're aging out of toys, but then maybe they have happy memory. So I think one thing that my mom did was I remember we had a Hello Kitty suitcase and she put in like special items. Like she had my first bathing suit that was like this big. It was so cute. And so it could be an idea, but I'm curious like, how you guys are dealing with it, but maybe like having a suitcase and then things that are even sentimental to you because my mom kept some of her favorite outfits from when she was young, like in her 20s and stuff, and I ended up wearing some of them, like her sister's bridesmaids dresses. So just deciding what to keep, you could almost have like a little, I don't know, like gift suitcase or something where you put special items in there to save.
yeah.
But yeah, do you have any system or have you guys done anything like that?
You want to go take it first? Or?
Oh no, I was asking you, Leah.
So I did save like their first outfits in the hospital, and they have personalized what's it called, like rattles. Like I've saved like a couple sentimental things, and then what's happened is I have my sister-in-laws are both have kids like almost all similar in age, but or like a year older or something. And then same with like neighbors and stuff sometimes. So I received a lot of hand-me-downs for my kids, and then what I'll do is like, you know, find other parents to like pass off things to. And it became a thing. So I think part of it was having a lot of like hand-me-downs already. It was easier to like be less attached to some of those things and then like find the next person. Um, I've talked about like buy nothing groups too. So I've been able to find a lot of like parents in like this Facebook group of people looking for clothes for their kids.
Yeah.
So I think for some reason that was easier for me, but I have the problem for my own closet. Like one day I'll need this. With kids, they just grow so fast right now. I'm like, no, like if I didn't get rid of it, like there would be no more room in their closet. And like I could see, I don't know why that's easier for me to declutter than like, well, I guess I can anything that's like mine. It's like harder to
It's
declutter.
not yours. It's still not yours. Do you go through their stuff like every year, or do you like have like
Yeah.
timing for that?
Usually, yeah, whenever we see the hand-me-downs, perfect time to like pull out what doesn't fit anymore. And actually, we're hitting it this week with back to school because it's a perfect time. Like the seasons are
Yeah.
changing, and there's a lot of clothes. It just I'm like, you don't fit those jammies anymore, right? And like have debates with the kids, like stop wearing those. So then it yeah, like it kind of is a forcing function. Um, and then shoes, they just like use up their shoes or put holes in like their pants now, like before like they even grow out of it. Um, so those systems are easy. I think what's been harder is toys, and they're everywhere. Like it got to the point where like they'd always be like in the kitchen, the living room, and then like like some weeks are more busy than others, and it becomes like I don't know. Like if you get this, but I just become blind to it. Like at some point, I don't even notice like things aren't where they belong anymore until it's like, oh, someone's coming over. Like
Oh,
gotta get
yeah.
rid of all the stuff. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but clothes, yeah, clothes are easy to find like people
Well,
and you feel
sometimes I
good.
almost, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I almost wish like my clothes were in worse shape. It's not like I have a bunch of expensive
Yeah.
clothes. Like some of them are super cheap, like from Forever 21 or whatever. But I kind of take care of my clothes, like
Yeah.
I don't dry them, I hang dry them. And sometimes I wish they would like just fall apart so I could get rid of them. But then if they're still good, then that's where that Asian thing of like, well,
Yes.
it's still good. You can still squeeze into it. Like, who knows. But I did at a certain point, like when I started, like my clothes started not fitting the same way, whatever. I finally like made it a point to just get rid of things that don't fit, or like give them to friends, give them away to friends if it's something nice, and like just for my own, I guess esteem or body image of like, yeah, you should wear clothes that fit you, instead of trying to, even if they fit you but they don't fit you right,
Hmm.
right? You want to like feel good in your clothes. So yeah, I've definitely done some purges with
Yeah.
that. What about you, Ray?
Well, I was just thinking, like, I have some clothes that I, even though they have holes in them, like, I can't get rid of them because I love them so much, or I don't know why, but I feel like they feel attached to my identity in some way. And I feel that same way about like my husband's clothes too. Like there's this one shirt that he has, and on the so he used to work at Whole Foods, and so he has one of those shirts, and on the back it says 100% natural. And like
Oh.
I love that shirt so much. And at some point, like I saw it in the trash can in the bathroom, and it made me so sad because that is one shirt that he always would wear when he would be cooking or doing something for the family. And like, I don't know, I got really sad and I was like, why are you throwing that out? And he was like, well, there's like 7 or 8 holes in it. I was like, you should still wear it.
Did you
Like,
take it out of the trash and like repurpose it? I'm just kidding.
like if it was in a different trash can, not the bathroom trash can, maybe. Um, but yeah, but it made me really sad. And
Okay, that's a question. Like, do your husbands have the same issue, like with getting rid of things? Or is it easier for them? Well, clearly, like in that
oh,
story, he
well,
could get rid of that shirt,
well,
but
because there were so many holes in it, but he
right.
actually really takes care of his clothes. Like, he has a system. He also cleans his shoes pretty regularly. Like and so he's the type of person who will like buy something even though it's really expensive, and he will wear them for decades. Whereas I wasn't that way before, and I'm trying to become more like him. So, yeah, he doesn't really have to throw things away because he usually takes such good care of his clothes. And also, he really focuses on like really quality materials too. And so, like, if he has holes in like some kind of cashmere, like, it's very easy to fix it in a way where it looks brand new again. Um,
Mhm.
and so, yeah.
In some ways, I envy men
Yeah.
or
Yes.
men identifying people because they just don't, they're not marketed like any place you go, any store. I mean, women have like a whole floor of things.
Right.
And just in terms of clothing, like we have a million accessories. We could do skirts, we could do shorts, we could do pants, we have tank tops, we have cardigans, we have so many different things. And I feel like men, it's just like shirts, some nice, some casual, pants and shorts. I mean,
No,
Yeah.
would be
No,
nice.
Kevin has clothes from like high school he still wears. Like, but it's not even like they were expensive clothes. Like they just, I don't know, they're more
I
durable
think their
and he
clothes
just,
are made better too. Like they're
yeah.
made to last. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has no need to shop either. Like it's like he never
Oh,
shop. So it's like a double whammy. Like yeah. His
yeah.
his side
I
of the
think
closet's
like
static.
the cultural thing is real because I know my husband doesn't. He'll throw things away right away. Like even something brand
What?
new, he's like, I don't need this anymore. And like my Asian heart like drops like, oh my gosh, like the people that just are like, or even food, like even if I'm not, well, I always take my leftovers, like if we go out to eat,
Yes.
but like if I order a drink and I always have to finish it. I'm like, I paid for that. I need to finish the
Right.
whole thing.
Same.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is very cultural. I heard a story of, I think it was an Asian man with a white woman and they were dating. And I believe she ordered like an old fashioned Coke or something. And then she didn't want it and she just threw it away. And he ended up breaking up with her over that.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, it's
Well,
very
it says a
deeply
lot.
rooted.
It is really deeply rooted. I think like in one of I don't know if we talked about this in like a previous maybe episode, but I was on Threads and I was being grilled for this thing that I posted and someone was like why do you have this scarcity mindset around like food like for your child? Like do you finish all the food that you order or like you make? If you don't like it, do you not eat it? Or do you like throw it away? And I was like, no, even if I don't like the food, I will eat it all because I have that scarcity mindset. It is cultural. It was part of like growing up poor and like not exactly having like being very, not precious, but like, you know, this rule around this guilt around throwing away things. So yeah, even if I ordered it and I uh, don't want to finish it, I will still eat it and I will get sick over it too. Like yesterday, I was like finishing the fish because we had ordered something and I didn't think it would last one more day. So I was like, "Ugh, we have to finish this." So then, like, I was like really full, but I kept eating it. And then I was like, oh, this is like, I'm going to get sick territory, but it still feels very wasteful. So I'll just eat it all. And then lo and behold, I was sick and I couldn't even eat dinner yesterday.
But at least you didn't waste money. I
Exactly.
No, I mean, do you know that there's people in this world that do not take leftovers? I've worked with
Oh,
people, they don't
Kevin.
believe in
Well, I
leftovers.
make Kevin take them because I'm like, I'll eat it tomorrow, and we'll have the kids eat it tomorrow, and he can't do more than two. Yeah, two left. Oh yeah, two meals or one more meal after that.
What I always do is like if I order soup or something, even if I eat everything out of the soup, I'm like, give me a container because I know the majority of the labor in this meal was the broth,
Yeah,
and I take that broth home and I'll make like two or three other meals
exactly.
out of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, SJ is that way too.
it's
Yeah,
funny. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
so that's why it's tough to declutter.
Yeah,
so
because
we've
it's so
talked about
rooted.
yeah. But okay, we've talked about clothes, we talked about food. So crafts. I want to know what the craft situation is like.
Oh my
Like
gosh. It's
We're
so
probably the worst people
bad.
to
I
ask.
know.
I
This is
mean,
gonna,
I
this
think
is,
I
Marin.
remember lanyards back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Like, I think that was in elementary
yeah.
school making the lanyards.
Mm-hmm.
I had like a whole, those plastic craft carts like full of lanyard string. I'm pretty much I'm like, and I've been thinking about it. I'm like, why did I get rid of that? Because I would be using it right now,
Mm-hmm.
30 years later. But I'm sure I held on to that for decades because I'm like, hey, and it's not cheap. Craft materials are not cheap, as we know.
No.
And you're just like, maybe I'd use that. And so
Yeah.
I
Oh
have
my
no
gosh.
advice other than
Well, how do you keep
hoarding
it
it.
organized then? Like, is it at least where you can find things? Or, yeah.
Yeah, the best time to shop for organizers is around like the new year because that's when all the stuff comes out. So if you go to like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, they have the best little organizers. So like
Wow.
I work with polymer clay a lot, so I got that one that has like all these mini drawers. And then I open my clay, I put it in a little Ziploc bag, and then I write the name of every color.
Oh my
And then
gosh, that's
I
really
sort them
good.
by colors. Yeah. So, I mean, but I actually actively use those
That's what I was
things.
gonna
So,
say, but that's good
yeah.
because I mean, yeah. But do you have like past hobbies? Like I used to knit and crochet a lot, and I still hold on to like my knitting stuff, my crochet stuff. I feel like I got rid of like my yarn at like a garage sale last year,
No.
but
Ray's like, send it to
It's
me. She was
how
complaining how expensive yarn was.
yarn is so
Well,
expensive.
that's the problem. It's so expensive. These things are not cheap, so it's hard to
Yeah.
get rid of.
And
I remember
that's,
remember scrapbooking is
oh
so
oh
yeah.
my, do you know
expensive.
how many
Oh.
piles of these like 12 by 12 like paper pads I have? I can't get rid of any. And then I see cute
Yeah.
designs and then I get more.
Yep.
Anyway,
Some
yes,
of the
Oh
joy
scrapbook.
is just in
gosh.
buying and hoarding the materials,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
even
that's
if
just
you
what I
don't
need to
use
accept
them.
it. I need to accept it.
Yeah, you just want to be like, I'm a creative person. Like, look at all this craft stuff lying around. I'm so multi
Yeah. It
talented.
inspires me even though I'm not going to use it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have heard for people that live in California, there's a place called Remainders. I actually haven't been there, but it's a place, I think it's in Pasadena, California, where people can donate all their craft materials
Mm-hmm.
and then other people can buy it like at a really, really reasonable price. So you could search for places like that or like donate them to, schools or like places that might end up using them. But it's
Yeah.
really hard to part with like really cute, good craft materials. I mean,
Yeah. It is really challenging. But on that note
Right.
about complaining
Yeah.
about yarn being really expensive, I
I knew
found I have
she
this story. I'm like, I was hoarding it. I was like, I need to say
Yes.
this.
yeah.
Like I have figured out that so after the winter season of like certain clothing companies, they'll get rid of like all their cashmere or like really good fabric at a very discounted price. And so I remember like looking at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is cheaper. Like I think the sweater that I was looking at, I was like $30 or something. And if I were to buy just the yarn, it would have been like $150. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the sweater and I'm gonna unwind it, and
Oh
uh,
my gosh, that's very
unravel it.
crafty.
I
Very
know,
resourceful.
very resourceful, but it took me forever to unravel the thing. And so I was like, oh my goodness. So unless I have a better system of unraveling yarn, I probably
Don't
won't do that again.
they sell some type of thing. They sell something. I've
A
seen someone have
spindle or
it.
something.
Yeah, some type of thing. But so what'd you make out of it once you untangled it or
Well, I
unraveled?
started and then I got really busy. I was making a cardigan for my daughter. Because I don't know, I really want her to have, but then she just kind of grows out of things. But I do have like a basket of things that I can't get rid of. Like there's this bear suit that we brought her home in. It has like ears, and he just looks like a teddy bear. And I cannot get rid of that bear suit. Like, it is just the cute. So we're just gonna have it forever. But yeah,
Yes.
there are some things like the sentimental things that we'll just never be able to get rid of. But we constantly, like you, Leah, like every year, because my husband works with a lot of people who are having kids, so we just keep like
Yeah.
making sure, and they're very lightly used because kids or babies grow really fast.
They grow so fast. I had things, yeah, my kids never wore. I was like, no.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Maybe like finding a way to use the supplies too. I mean, especially since you have kids, like if they do play dates, be like, hey, do you want to do a crafty play date? And just like have them use some of the stuff. Unless you're like
No.
hoarding
Why
it.
should I know?
I know, I was like, Leah, I don't know how Leah's gonna
They
feel
don't get
about
my
that.
good markers, my good colored pencils.
No,
No.
not that stuff, but like little rhinestones or I don't know. Yeah, we're just.
That's true. I did let them play with stickers. I was like, I really like these stickers, but then I never have things to put stickers on. So like, why am I hoarding?
You should get a sticker book. Don't you remember sticker books?
Do they still
They
exist?
sell them now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I know a
Everything's
lot of
coming
artist
back.
friends who design the sticker books. Because don't you remember we used to trade the stickers? Did you guys used to
Yes.
do that?
Yes.
Somehow sounds very
It's like,
familiar.
yeah, it's like that vinyl, where you can remove it easily. And then, yeah, you'd like go on a sleepover with your friend and then you'd like trade stickers. Like, I want that
Yeah.
one and I'll give you these two for that one. And
I kind of
You know.
remember that. Yeah, I think I did that with my cousin. But as we're talking about like I mean, I think we were supposed to be talking about decluttering, but I just
There's
keep
no
focusing
supposed
on
to.
the hoarding.
That was just the topic, but yes.
So like I
Hoarding,
have
continue.
We're
yes,
working through our emotional blocks to declutter.
exactly. I have
This is going to help us.
I have a basket of paper. Like there's a lot of paper in there. And these are things that I've had since probably even high school. Like I've never been able to get rid of my paper collection. And like every time somebody gives me like a gift with gift wrap, I will flatten it and it goes in my paper collection. And the other day, like my husband received a gift and I was like, oh my gosh, this wrapping paper is so pretty. So I flattened it and stuck it in my paper collection. So it's like I can't declutter because I see the potential in every
Yes, it's a
small thing that I
potential.
acquire.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
We're artists. We can't help it. We just see art in everyday things. But I mean, like Ray, weren't you like making paper for? I still have those little jewelry boxes you made out of paper, and yeah, I don't know how much of that is an Asian thing or just because I also like I remember we were trained during Christmas like not to really rip the paper too much. Like we would a lot of times take the tape off,
right.
recycle it, So to me, like it was very learned behavior to do that. And then plus I have my small business, so I even collect packing supplies. I'm like, oh, that's a good box. Like, oh, that's good, popcorn or whatever for the boxes.
Oh my goodness, Marin, you just reminded me, like I have another basket full of like, so in Korea, like on Thanksgiving or New Year's, like they do lots of gifts. Like so companies will give gifts to their employees. And there's this one gift that my husband's company will give him. And there are all these like treats that come in these like plastic containers. And so he'll be like, oh, this is like such a waste of calories. And so he'll throw, like, I remember the first time he was about to throw it, I was like, no, I'm going to take the containers. You can throw out the food, but I'm going to take out the containers. And he was like, what are you going to use it for? And I was like, I don't know yet, but I'm sure I will find a purpose for it. And so
sorting beads, those are
yes,
really good for sorting
exactly.
beads or
And then
jewelry
making
supplies.
paint. And then making paint.
Yes.
And then like I just started making finger paints for my daughter. So yeah,
there you
they're
go.
the best.
See,
I mean, we're just justifying our behavior
I
at
know.
this point. But yeah, there's some boxes that are too good to throw away.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like I even have some friends' businesses, like they might have dessert, and the box is so high quality.
I know,
like
right?
it is so nice. I'm like, I just like save it. I don't even know. Like, you know, it's just too nice.
Yep. I can relate to
One
that.
day I'll find something that fits in there and I'll like gift it to someone. And they're going to be like, wow, this is a really nice box. And they're not going to be able to get rid of it.
I know. But so another thing, okay, I don't know if this is a tip, but like I'll use some of the paper from my paper collection and I will reline some of those boxes and actually use them as like gift giving boxes as well. Like I don't know if you guys do Warby Parker, but like the box that the glasses come in are really nice. They're like
Yeah.
very yeah, and so I remember like relining it and like yeah, using it for something. So
That's next level.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's yeah, it is.
I aspire to do that. I haven't. But it's one of those like that's why I'm holding on to these things.
Yes, and you can also decoupage like you know, glue and paper over the boxes. Like it can be therapeutic. Sometimes I'll do that like yeah.
So last year I was on this kick. I think maybe both of you knew. I know, Marion, I told you like I was getting to miniatures. Like I had this house and I was like actually creating like things to like decorate my little miniature house. And then like I would see everything like bottle caps, this. I'm like, ooh, that could be a table. That could be this. And then Kevin got to the point where he's like, I can't throw anything away. Like I don't know if you want to save it. And they got to like yeah, like baskets and baskets of like bubble wrap and like you know those berry baskets and like egg cartons. And then I stopped.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
And then my interest now, I'm really into like making friendship bracelets, like embroidery, like thread. But then you buy embroidery thread, it comes like if you want all the colors, it comes like big bat anyway.
Yeah.
So now like my priorities have shifted. So yeah, I don't know. Like one day I'm gonna come back to it, so I can't throw all the miniature stuff away. But I did
Exactly.
like reduce a little bit. But now I have this whole like fiber arts thing going on, and then I've done paper quilling at one point. I have wax seals, embossing. I have so much junk. Like, but I'm like, one day I'm gonna write you guys letters. I'm gonna emboss it with a
You're
wax
going to do
seal.
your
I can
daughter's
send you
wedding
stickers.
invitations.
Yes. I have all my
you're all gonna
calligraphy
use
pens.
it.
I can.
Oh.
You were saying
I know.
you also do which one? Which one
Quilling.
of the things?
Quilling.
Paper quilling. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I became really obsessed with it. Oh my gosh. And then at some point, like I found this one person on Etsy who uses the piano strings. So he'll take the steel from the piano and he'll actually turn them into the quilling tool. So he'll put a slit in
Ooh.
it. And so I was like really obsessed with quilling tools for a while. But yeah, I love quilling. Oh, I haven't done that in so long. I have so many things of paper right now.
Well, in Marie Kondo, this is all sparking joy, so
That's true.
I think it's all
It's
fine.
all good.
You know, you just need to add another addition to your house to store all your crafting supplies.
Oh my gosh.
It's like your it's like I think for all of us, it's like therapeutic. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
So it is investing in our joy.
So I just
And
need to-
I'm sure
yeah.
we've passed that on too. Like I know when I was obsessed with scrapbooking, I made scraps for like my, you know, niece with all her baby photos, and it's like a keepsake. So it's very meaningful and like the gift giving aspect of it too.
You know what we should do?
Yes.
We should start like a business where we create like miniature things or like stickers or like scrapbooking materials out of things that we already have.
We should. Yes.
Well, I don't know if that could be fun, but it could be therapeutic for a while.
Well, when Leah opens her brewery and
That's
we
right.
host all these craft nights, I mean, we're going to be prepared.
Slash tea house, right? Marion, we're gonna have tea in
Yes.
there and do all the crafts.
Yes.
Yeah, we should do. Yeah, I think that would be good motivation to do something to find purpose for all these things. I know. I have like ideas too. I'm like a subscription box of like a craft and a different craft every month, which I mean they already do exist, but then that's also guess, encouraging more hoarding. I don't know. We gotta
I
figure
had a
things
friend who
out.
did that business. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You send the kits and then you get on like a live or something and then you do
Yeah,
it
you all do it
together.
together.
Yeah. See, we're just entrepreneurs.
Yeah. But it works if you already have the stuff, not if you have to go out and buy like new things and it's like,
That's
wait.
true.
Oh, and then I'm so interested. I want to like learn how to do like stained glass art and like just like blowing glass one day. I think somewhere in Sacramento they do. Like, but then I'm like have to rein it in, right? It's kind of like or maybe I just get rid of more clothes and then I have room in my closet for crafts. Anyway.
Priorities.
Yeah, priorities.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the glass. I don't think you could glass blow at home unless you. It looks so
That's
intense
true.
from that show, but you know, certain things are like meant to go like somewhere to do a workship or
That's
something.
true.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
One day when I retire, I'm gonna have a glass blowing studio behind the tap house. Just kidding.
it's really
On,
cool.
on that note, so maybe instead of going around with one thing that I don't know, we've taken out it. Well, maybe it could still be one thing that you've gotten out of this conversation, or I don't know. How do you want to end it? I think this is great.
Well, I feel like, you know, you started it with talking about the kind of cultural aspects about how we struggle with getting rid of things and we have emotional attachments to things. And so I would say, like for me, maybe working towards getting out of that scarcity mindset, you know, of like not just holding on to things because of that generational trauma or whatever, and coming out of a state of abundance, you know. So if, you know, not to have like unrealistic expectations that everything has to spark joy, but if the things are sparking joy, if you love fashion, if you love crafts, whatever it is, if you love, you know, cooking and like love all the kitchen accessories, then go ham on it. Like get every accessory. Like life is short, you know. But maybe to work on like letting go of some of the hoarding tendencies just out of a state of scarcity, because we don't need to hoard like trash. You know?
Unless you see the potential and it's not trash.
No, I know. Like I've saved so much cardboard because I use it, but then sometimes I'm like, okay, I have enough. Like I need to recycle this.
I think it's that kind of knowing like when like you're at a good point. Yeah, because otherwise the fear is like I got to keep, yeah, like collecting more because like one day there won't be enough cardboard, which you know hasn't proven true yet. How about you, Ray? Any thoughts? Final.
Well,
Final
I don't
thoughts?
have any
Last
like
words?
words of wisdom, but I know that like IKEA has a lot of. I really love the Kallax bookshelves from IKEA because of all the drawers that you can either use them as shelves or you can use them as like basket holding things, and a lot of those basket things, they come packed with this type of cardboard. You're I guess you guys won't be able to see it, but
We have one.
right, it looks like this.
Oh, okay.
These cardboards, and I just want to tell you that they are the best like brainstorming cardboards for like post-its and like so for if you're trying to organize your house, go with the Kallaxes and buy the baskets. You can fit a lot in there.
Exactly. It's good to hide all your stuff.
I was going to say,
really,
you know what?
deep.
Maybe
they're
that
really
is
cubes.
the underlying motivator. I don't want to see it all the time because it's like cognitive overload. But maybe it is more just like putting it away or having homes for everything. I think
storage solutions.
Yeah. Well, see, I feel better. This is a great episode.
What about you, Leah? What's your takeaway?
Well, my takeaway is yes. Like I think I'm like really like I really want to declutter my closet. I think I was debating, should I start with the closet, like my closet? Should I start with something that's like less emotional? You know, I have a home office and then like another room I've hijacked as my craft like closet, and I didn't know where to start. But now I won't touch my crafts yet because I'm more motivated to get rid of the clothes than I am the crafts. Anyway, so I think I feel good because I have a plan of attack. And yeah, I don't feel as bad about trying to get rid of everything. And it's more about, yeah, I think it's a combination of sparking joy, knowing how much is enough. And like, yeah, the bigger pain point is just making sure things aren't just lying around all over the place. So I like see it all at once, but knowing where things are. So yeah, this is a great therapy session.
Bestie approved.
Bestie approved. So for any of you out there struggling with decluttering, this is probably not the episode to talk you out of decluttering.
No, we're going to change the title to Hoarding, Recovering Hoarders.
Yes. Meaningful hoarding. Only hoarding the things that spark joy.
Joyful hoarding.
Should trademark that. If you haven't already, follow us at Your Asian Besties on social media and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite listening app. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. We actually made time.